is up, my friends? How are you guys doing? I hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you're feeling good, looking good, smelling good, all that kind of stuff, man. Thanks for stopping in, my friends, and talking with me just a little bit today about some movies. Today, well, let's say, before we get started, y'all hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notifications when I post cool and interesting things. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about a movie from last year, from 2023, directed by the incomparable Mr. John Woo, called Silent Night. Now, I wanted to see this last year when it came out, but I never really got the opportunity to, check it out in the theater or anything like that, even though I wanted to. I'd heard good things about it. I'd heard some of my friends and people say, "Oh yeah, man, it was a great action movie," yada yada. And so a couple months ago, they had it on sale on Prime. I think it was like $4.99, or I think at most maybe $7.99. But anyway, I just blind bought it. I picked it up because I said, "Why not? It's John Woo. It's Joel Kinnaman. I like Joel Kinnaman. I think he's really good." But what I did not know was that this is a silent film, hence the name Silent Night. I originally, I thought, oh man, because I'm a big John Woo fan. Big John, like Hard Target. My mind literally just went blank for Hard Boiled. Haven't seen Hard Boiled, but I hear it's really good. But John Woo, he makes some great action films. Face Off, there's another one he's made. So I mean, he's made some classic action films. So I have faith in John Woo. I've always had faith in John Woo and his movie making ability, especially his action film making ability. And so I was stoked about seeing this. The opening scene, I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is fantastic. I'm watching, killer action scene with car chase and all kinds of things. And then we get to the point where, our opening sequence is over and our film's about to start. And this, my friends, is where the eye rolling begins. So it's called Silent Night. It's a silent film. No one speaks in the whole film because... Now, I don't know why he decided to do this. I think this was a misstep for John Woo. But in the beginning of the film, Joel Kinnaman, accosts his son's killer. And the killer gets the upper hand and gets the better of him and shoots him in the throat. So he can't talk anymore, like vaporized his vocal cords, right? He can't talk. So really, we're watching his facial expressions the whole time. Now, Joel Kinnaman is an excellent actor. I like Joel Kinnaman. I think his facial expressions were on point. They were great. But John Woo's storytelling is all over the place here. And the thing about it is, if you're going to make a silent film, you got to make a silent film that people can follow easily. Yes, I know we're not watching John Woo for the plot necessarily, but even his writing makes more sense than some of the things that happen in this film. Now, the silent, this isn't Charlie Chaplin. This isn't Buster Keaton. The silent era of films. I mean, and there's still some silent films out there today that are excellent, like The Headhunter and All Is Lost with Robert Redford. Robert Redford don't speak a word for like 2 hours, and it is riveting because of his ability to tell a story through his body language and his surroundings, his scenery. This was Joel Kinnaman screaming silently. This was us watching him, lose his mind. And the thing is, other people can talk. It's not like everybody was shot in the throat. I mean, his wife, which is the lady that plays Tabitha on From, if any of you guys have seen the show From, she plays Tabitha. His wife doesn't even talk to him when he's like having a breakdown, when he's losing it, when he's crying. She's like, She just holds him and she doesn't talk, I mean, it's just, some of it is ridiculous. And then there's a police officer that's after the same gang members that killed his son, and they don't share a word, nothing. They just lay there bleeding together. It's so preposterous for everyone to remain quiet, given the situations they were in. And again, I know the point of the movie is for it to be silent. for him to tell a story through action and facial expressions and body language and scenes and situations and cinematography. I know that's what he's trying to do, but he's not. Maybe he's just not well versed enough in Western cinema to tell that story in a complete, cohesive fashion, because I literally felt like it was all over the place sometimes. Because I would look away and I would do something and then I would turn back and I'm like, what is going on? You know, like someone would need my attention for something and I'd, you know, turn it down a little bit and answer the question that my child was asking or something. And I would turn back around and turn it up and I'm like, what's going on? Because there's no words to keep me engaged, you know? And now let's talk about the one thing that John Woo has always excelled about, and that's his action. His action in this is great, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. For instance, there are the scene in the very beginning of the film when he gets shot in the throat. They have him in the ER and they're trying to stitch him up. Well, I don't know if any of you know how wounds and that kind of trauma work, but you're not going to be stitching him up while blood's still, you know, and oozing out of the sutures. Like, you're not going to do that. They're going to stop the bleeding first, then they're going to suture him up. So I know he was going for the visceral, for the I guess, eye candy of action with the blood and all that, but some of the stuff was just absolutely preposterous, and I thought it was ridiculous and just unbelievable. And so again, that goes with with some of the action in this too, like scenes where people getting hit by cars and getting up and walking away, and you know, people getting shot like 47 times and still trucking forward. And and it's okay for suspension of disbelief. That's fine. If you want to love that kind of stuff, awesome. And I dig it. I dig sometimes, but you got to have a touch of realism in there, Jonathan. You must have realism in there, Jonathan. It is terrible, man. I really, really was looking forward to this. I really was. But it is awful. One of John Woo's worst movies, in my opinion. It being silent did not lend itself to good filmmaking. His storytelling in this was not, I mean, where was it? Was it even existing? I don't know. His action, normally great, just seemed stupid and over the top and exaggerated. And it was almost like those old samurai movies from the 70s and 80s, like Lone Wolf and Cub, where he'd be like, yeah, and all of a sudden he'd be like, just like blood spraying everywhere, you know what I mean? That's almost what it felt like, just with guns. And it was just preposterous, man. And normally I would have fun with something like that if it had a good story behind it. A story that made sense, that played out in a realistic fashion. I could have got behind it. But it wasn't. It was literally just action candy for the adrenaline junkies who don't care about a story. I mean, they don't care about good storytelling. All they care about is, ooh, look at those guns and look at that blood, look at those explosions. Oh, and there's the white dove flying because it's John Woo's trademark. If that's your thing, that's your thing. If that's the kind of thing those people like, then that's it, you know? But I just did not care for it, guys. I'm giving it 2 thumbs down. It was awful. Don't waste your time. I wasted my money when I bought it. So you guys, don't waste your time. I rented it. I'm not going to tell you where to stream it because there is nowhere to stream it yet. But guys, don't waste your time on this. It's not worth it. That's it for Silent Night, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. Before you go, click that like and subscribe button, guys, so you can get notifications. And thank you, my friends. As always, I'm going to keep making them as long as you guys keep watching them. Peace out. God bless you, and I will see you soon.